Hey guys, it's Charlie. Okay, so I just got out of seeing the new adaptation, Edgar Wright's version of Stephen King's The Running Man, which, for those keeping track, is the third adaptation of a Stephen King novel, short story, that we've gotten this year. So, for those keeping track, what we got this year was The Life of Chuck, which had Tom Hiddleston and Karen Gillan in it. We also had The Long Walk, which came out a couple months ago, and now this one, The Running Man, which is based off of a Schwarzenegger adaptation from '87, where Schwarzenegger played Ben Richards. Okay, so let me get into my breakdown of my thoughts here. Okay, number one, of these adaptions, my favorite is still The Long Walk, because I feel that it's a very unique work of King's. King doesn't just do horror. King also does dramas, and King does... Essentially, King writes what he feels, and he just kind of gets typecast a little bit, I feel, in the horror genre. But I don't really feel any of these adaptions that we got this year even quantify as horror movies. Like The Long Walk, I would definitely consider a dystopian drama about a dystopian society where the people in power make those less in power essentially walk. Like a really sadistic game show. They basically walk from one state to the next until only one person is left standing. If they stop walking for more than 10 seconds, they're eliminated from the game, and then the next in line basically continues on. Now, that was a hard watch for me. The Long Walk is a hard movie to watch. It's got a lot to say about brotherhood between the two main characters. And I really feel like those characters, they gave their all for those roles. And I really feel The Long Walk has a lot to say. I need to read the story of The Long Walk to see how true this movie is to the actual adaptation, because I feel like, aside from a few little switches here and there, this is very much The Long Walk the way that King wanted it to be. And I like that Mark Hamill played a very sadistic drill sergeant in this one, and the fact that he didn't have to do a lot to be threatening. He had the people around him that were the main threats, and he just kind of stood around on a tank basically and just kind of barked orders at these people who were like his Marines, basically his Marines that he was molding to be bitter and strong, to be the number one. So there's a lot to be said about The Long Walk. I really feel that's maybe the best King adaptation that I have seen, above all else. And I've seen a lot of really good King adaptations, like The Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile, Stand By Me. So many great movies, but this, I feel, took the cake. It is number 3 in my favorite movies of all time, because I just felt the story, even though it's a hard one to watch, it's necessary to understand the core idea of it, which is that brotherhood survives even in the worst case scenarios, and brotherhood is around us, in the people around us. That is a very big statement, and I feel that King really drove that point home with that movie. Okay, so second adaptation, The Running Man. That's my second favorite of this year, I want to say right now. The Running Man, this movie is basically not a dystopian society. This is one where the media basically filters out the news and just shows you what they want to boost ratings. Okay, sounds very relevant to today. Yes, I know. People are probably going to say that this is woke, but to me, this feels like it's closer to what Stephen King envisioned with The Running Man, because this was written when he was first starting out in the 70s-ish. This and The Long Walk were both written around the era of the 70s. I really need to go back to my Bachman books and read these books now to really compare the novel, short story, to the movie and see how they compare. But I really like this adaptation. I feel like I might put this in my top 10 as well. I gotta really take a moment and kind of think through what the movies I've seen this year, because there have been some really good movies that I've seen this year. Some really good ones that I really put high up, and a lot of ones that I really want to put in, but I'm only going to leave it as a top 10, not a top like 15 or top 20, even though I probably could do a top 20. I definitely feel this Running Man is different from the Running Man from 87. I think it was 87. It's either 87 or 86. Because the Running Man from 87, that was a Schwarzenegger movie. It was a Schwarzenegger movie where Schwarzenegger is giving off Schwarzenegger-isms. Like the ones you would expect. You know, like the "I'll be back." He's going to punch through your back and pull out your spine and feed it to you. Here is Sub-Zero. Now, Plane Zero. Schwarzenegger-isms. Okay? You pay for Schwarzenegger. That's what you get. The Running Man 87 is a good movie. It's a decent movie. It's a decent Schwarzenegger vehicle. Schwarzenegger was on his game. But there are issues with Running Man, because the parts that aren't Schwarzenegger based, they're not quite fully developed. Aside from it being, we have Arnold Schwarzenegger, here he is. Here are his isms. Enjoy. This definitely feels more closer to what the original writer Stephen King wanted, because I just feel this was grander in scope. Gravitas. That's a really big thing with the adaptations of Stephen King this year. These films and movies and stories have gravitas. And that's the biggest thing that I feel we've gotten from Stephen King adaptations this year, is we have stories with weight. Stories with weight that actually have something to say. And that's my opinion. That's Stephen King's gift as a writer, that he knows how to write to have a message, and he's really driving it home this year. Third adaptation, The Life of Chuck. I've seen The Life of Chuck a few times. I feel I don't even fully have a grasp of what I've seen of Life of Chuck, because I feel there's so much more going on with that movie. It's just placed right now at number 3 because the other two are just really, really good. But The Life of Chuck is basically about the fall of one universe, the creation of another universe around the life of a guy named Chuck. That's a very, very basic idea of what the story is, and I've probably convoluted the idea because I feel there's so much more to that story that maybe goes over my head, that repeated viewings will help make more sense to me. But that's essentially the idea I'm going with. But even that idea alone, that's a lot of a message. But that doesn't mean it's a bad movie. This is really, really good along the lines of, say, like Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile. This is one of those stinker type movies that just has a lot to say, and it just gets better with time. That's the biggest gift I would say with Mike Flanagan's Life of Chuck, is that it's the gift that keeps on giving. And that, to me, maybe I should have it higher up on my list. I just really, really loved The Long Walk and The Running Man. But these three are just really, really, really close together. Like, I don't even consider like a big gap between these three. Like, there isn't a bad one in between them. Okay, so those are my thoughts. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.